action on the bid. Topic is the hours spent for dozer push loading the scrapers. That was the last meeting. I told you guys, I kept that log that you asked me to keep, and the hours that I've logged differs from what they have. So on that, what do you want to say on that, Bert?
Well, I guess there's different ways to skin a cat. The way we looked at it was the dozer hours, the actual pushing the scraper through is one thing, but then the dozer, I don't know whether you call it on standby, when we thought we were done pushing the scrapers, we were still getting stuck. And the dozer wasn't pushing every load, but he was over there. Anyway, I guess that's where the discrepancy.
Didn't you say if you run this originally, Bruce, this dozer, you said you had it was a soft area that you didn't anticipate on, but
yeah,
my understanding is that you got through this soft areas.
We did.
That was pretty in, so you wouldn't need the dozer. That dozer shouldn't be included in that price then on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
See, Bert, at 60, you charge the full amount of $10,000, and at $10,000, at $150 an hour, that's 67 hours of push time, which that's what that money was allotted for, was push time. And like I said, that, you guys work half a day, Monday, Tuesday, I logged you approximately 5 hours, and on Wednesday and Thursday you guys were both back to running scrapers. Both of you were. And then what I'm saying, there's in that 2 half days and 3/4 of a day, there's no way you could have got 67 hours. See, I read your meter on October 20th, which had been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It read 51.8 hours. There's no way you could have got even 51 hours on that period of time. See, and with Brad leaving at a half of a day, basically Brad left about 9 or 1 o'clock after lunch. And there was nobody there to push. There was nobody there to push load your scraper. So what I've got logged here basically is about 15 to 15 with there was time, of course. On the day you guys pushed the full day. I like the 3:30. So there's such I don't know exactly how late you guys worked in on that particular day, but what I'm looking at is about probably 20 hours max at push time before you guys were back. Because see, once you guys were both running when your chain broke on your scraper, then you continued running the scraper. Then Brad started running the D7, pushing the stockpiles back. And you got a lot of hours on that. But a lot of that was ramp time, working on ramps, moving the stockpiles back, that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Then the other issue was on silt fence, and that. On your bid here, I've got there's $25.50 for 1,500 feet of silt fence, and actually there was more than 1,500. We measured that out on the map, and it was about 2,000 feet of silt fence. That's what that is. The first round of silt fence was, it was the wrong material when put in the wrong location. I've got on your signed affidavit of $10,000 cap. Your bill you turned in was $12,100 over the original bid, $39,270. It's 51 something.
allowed 10, and even went over that, is what you're saying.
Well, not on push time, but overall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You allowed a
You got
cap
two
of 10.
different, you got two different issues here. One is the silt fence and one of them is.
One is the silt fence and one is the, you know, on the push time on the dozer.
Okay, I'd like to comment to that, but, number one, on the original bid, we bid silt fence by the foot, because we never know for sure how many feet the requirements are until the job's done. And in this case, we went out and started hauling dirt for a couple of days, and then Tony with Terracon called and asked dinner, and it's silt fence up. Well, no, it isn't up yet. We're starting to haul dirt. He said, well, you need to get that up right now. I explained to Darren, I said, well, if we put it up now, you know, it's gonna get half or more torn out. Okay, I mean, it's right where we're working. And it's around our stockpile. And he said, yeah, you need to put it up or else the KDHE will sue, well, not sue, but penalties will go toward the county and us both if it's not up in place. Okay. So we shut down the operation, drive to Wichita to get silt fence, and I think the next morning, we rented a trencher and we put up silt fence. Put up silt fence, and I'm going to call that temporary silt fence. Anyway, most of that got torn out, and so we had to go to Wichita again, buy more silt fence at the end of the job, and install the tall silt fence as shown on the plans. So,
But on the plans of the work, it showed the placement of it, the size of it. I mean, if you bought the tall stuff up, you know, from the beginning and put it out, of course I gave, you know, I mean, of course you can't not wrap it around the ends of this stockpiles like they had, you know. But, you know, even when you started back in with the 3 foot tall, the correct height of the silt fence, remember, I mean, you started going right around that first stockpile again, and that didn't even need to be there. I mean, you're going in the wrong place. You know, you know, I got you stopped and you moved it, you know. I mean, and then right there on the drawing, it showed the exact placement of the silt fence and how much. Well, it didn't tell how much, but I mean, you know, you could measure it out. You know, because I measured it out at about 2,000 feet, almost to a T. I mean, to the number of 2,000 that I come up with on the measurements. You know, I mean, because there's a scale on there, 1 inch is equal to 100 feet.
sure, yeah, I agree with the 2,000.
Yeah. I mean, basically, it was the wrong stuff put in the wrong location first go around, and it wasn't in the plans to put up temporary silt fence. What I'm saying, you know, I mean, if you went 3 foot tall stuff, and you know, granted, I mean, you could have waited on the ends of the stockpile. Otherwise, you couldn't really get up on it, you know, because the way you stockpile them, you start on one end, you go up, drive off the other end. I mean, you can't put that there yet, but.
And as far as that silt fence, you know, the 2 foot tall silt fence or the 3 foot tall silt fence. I mean, through all my years of construction, you know, the 2 foot silt fence was okay for temporary, you know, while you're building, and then you put up that, and that's what we did. In this case, we ended up, you know, for permanent, the tall stuff's up there. But, well, I guess, long story short, as far as the silt fence goes, that one stockpile, probably 300 foot, wasn't needed on that, where we looped around that one stockpile. And then that there was a stretch down there along the north side of that sand pile that we didn't have to go. But I didn't think that they'd want the silt washing off the stockpile and get down in here where you dump the trash either, so that's why we put that up along there. It doesn't matter, I mean.
But I mean, that wasn't in the plans or the drawing to put it there, you know.
Right.
And nor was it, I mean, you know, the ones you did get in the right location, like down by the swale and where it flows off the property, I mean, it was the wrong stuff. They had to, bottom line, they had to go to 3-foot stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And,
Well, I guess with that being said, and we had other things that we had to do that we didn't bid on. One of them was putting up hay bales, part of the erosion control, and another one was putting in a culvert.
that was all withdrawn.
But it wasn't bid. At the time we bid that, you told us to don't worry about the culvert because the county's gonna furnish and install. Tony with Terracom tried to say, well, no, it should have been part of the bid because it's shown on there. Well, I have trouble swallowing that kind of stuff. So, I guess I darn sure don't want to harm any relations down here or be known as a crooked contractor or anything like that. So, I'm basically willing to accept whatever everybody thinks is fair. But before I do, I want to present this other way of looking at our deal. I took the original bill and I marked it. Marked it, I kind of I just figured like the $10,000 limit, well, number one, the $10,000 limit was for push loading the scraper due to the muddy conditions. Didn't have anything to do with silt extra. And with that in mind, I don't know if you want to look at, I'll kind of read it off the way I looked at it was, I should make a copy. You got to
Give me a copy.
Yeah, what's the copy?
On the scraper pushing the dozer pushing the scraper, the way I recollect, when we got to the point where the scraper can get through without the dozer behind it, then we fired up the other scraper, both of us started scraping. Well, that only lasted for a couple of hours, Brad and I. We started getting stuck. It's not going to work yet, so we went back to running one scraper and pushing it. And I don't know, how long did that last, man? I didn't, after, it was on like for one more morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know on the 21st, I had a video, Darren, you remember when my girlfriend came down to videotape us. We had a video of the push load and me.
Yeah.
And
Shortly after that one, we thought, oh wow, we're done with it.
yeah, it was like that Saturday or something. Saturday or Monday. We're like, well, let's try to do scrapers again. And that east end was still soft on us.
Yeah, but that following day, Brad, not that day your girlfriend was out there, you and her were both on the D7 pushing that dirt. He was moving with the scraper by himself. He was moving the clay on the clay stockpile, and then you were pushing it, you and her were pushing
Yeah.
it.
And then, but there was times I was still push loading him that day also.
And there, I remember a period of time when It was at least a day when the dozer had to be there because it's still treacherous, even though he wasn't pushing every load. You know, if the dozer, if the scraper hit a soft spot and sank, then he'd be right there to push it out. Now, there's different ways of looking at it. Well, that time shouldn't be considered. For push time, although the dozer wouldn't have needed to be there if it could operate on its own. There's a lot of different ways you can look at it. But I get on his invoice now, we all have a copy, right? You were thinking like 20 hours? Yeah, we were thinking like 30 hours. Anyway, on my invoice, I cost out the 10,000 and put 5,000 for dozer assistance. Silk fence, I cut back from 3,000 to 2,000. I added the straw bales, I added the culvert. And then the last item, the Terracon change order. I've got caught the Terracon change order, even though there wasn't a change order written, but there was definitely a change in plans at that west end of that pit. The way they had it designed, the dike was going to be lower than the ditch, so all of the landfill runoff would have ran right into the pit, the way it was designed. And it's still designed that way. You can see it on the blueprints now. I raised this issue to Darren and Terracon man Tony also. I told him, when I first told him, I said, there's something wrong with that west end. It's not, it's not the way you want it. He said, well, yes it is, but there's nothing wrong with it. Well, anyway, there were a couple of days in a row I kept saying, there's something wrong down there. It's just not working out. It's not what you want. And then finally, I said, look, the dike is lower than the ditch. So that's, I'm trying to resurrect all this.
So you're saying Terracom's responsible for this?
Exactly.
$4,000, it costs you $4,000, but they're responsible for it.
Right.
Is that the way that the plans read, or how did the plans that they submitted for you to work on, what did they, did you complete your job the way their plan was detailed, or?
No, the job is not built as per plan, as we speak right now. It's not. It's built as designed by Tony and I guess, out there in the field.
What it was there was a point on the drawing, and Tony did admit that there was, what do they call it, a computer or a
Software glitch.
Software glitch or something, that had one point on there that had he dug it down like it showed in the drawing, yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
Well, my question, would Terracom be responsible for this $4,000?
Yes.
Where are you getting 4,000?
It's got 4,000 change order down there. Bob.
4 days at $1,000 a day.
Yeah.
What was the delay?
Getting an answer out of it. If I recall right, it was like on Thursday when I brought it to his attention, and it was the following Monday before he came out on site to see exactly what I'm talking about. And at that point, that's when he told me, okay, you're right, it's got to be redesigned. And I said, well, exactly how? And he said, well, I want it like this and that and this and that, this and that and that. Okay, yeah, that would work. that would keep the drainage out of the pit. And put in the culvert here, and at that point I asked him to give me something in writing for a flow line of that culvert, because once that culvert's set, everything's got to work, or you'll be pulling the culvert out and redoing it again. And if I'd installed it the way it was designed, it would have been wrong. The $1,000 a day comes from basically if you had that dozer and scraper sitting on the job, rented, that's basically the rent on those two pieces of equipment per day. That's what it counts. I would think that you could not pay. You could subtract that off Terracon, whatever you guys owe Terracon yet for the design of the job.
Well, then there you're into another argument there.
I know, that's why.
So work had to stop entirely because of this? I mean, you were done to that point and you couldn't do anything else at this point?
Basically, we couldn't put up the silk fence because we weren't done yet. We couldn't haul anything off the job yet because we weren't done yet. We weren't done.
Before you start on your perimeter berm too.
Well, the perimeter berm was pretty well built. It was done when it came out there. The only thing that wasn't done was that west end, putting that culvert.
Well, the perimeter berm wasn't done. You had to go back and redo it. And I got the as-built here. Basically, the CQA, they done the CQA. There was one spot on the floor that was cut too low, basically, but it's not that big a deal. Take 15 cubic yards of dirt to fill it in. It's not that big a deal. The berm was not built any bit at all to design plans, but Tony said hopefully that Mike will come out there. He did say in the as-built that it will do its job and keep its flow, but it was not shaped as the design plan. There was a
4-foot wide top.
yeah. And it's 2 foot, that berm's a lot taller than 2 feet. But, I agree, it will do its job. It'll keep the water from going in the pit. But,
Well, where they improve it? KDHE.
yeah, that's up in the area. We have not had, it's been sent to KDHE. And we haven't heard back from KDHE yet. Because I asked KDHE permit manager if he was going to be out and do a final inspection, and he wasn't sure. He said he may just work off the CQA. And Tony wrote up the CQA and told him, that the berm was not built as design specs, but it will serve its purpose. And that we shifted the ramp on each end of the pit. It was shifted a little bit, as to make it easier to get in and out of. Okay, but if you had 67 hours push time, why would you turn around and drop it right in half to 5,000?
Because I didn't even want to bring up these other issues. That's why when I started the meeting, I said there's different places.
And on the culvert, we traded that out. Those pipe, you're charging $40 a foot for 42 feet. We traded that out with those pipe I gave you, cast iron pipe. And the straw bales also was part of the design plan. That was in the drawing. Remember day one when we were out there and Kirk and Michael was out there and they had all the stakes. They put all the staking out for the pits and everything. I had that map right there on the pickup and I showed you the back pits page and the drawing. Well, you had the drawing too. The bales was part of the design. It was part of the work scope.
And bringing that up, that day they were out there putting all the stakes in. I begged them several times to put flags where the silt fence goes. And they wouldn't do it because they said that their program was set up to set things at certain points, and that was wrong. They'd have to go back to the office. And remember, I tried to get you.
No, I know you did say that, you know, you said that,
But,
you said normally they put flags out where the silt fence goes.
yeah, they stake the silt fence, is what they do. But they didn't do it, but that's water on the bridge, I'm knocking off. You know, I'm going back to plan on 2,000 foot on the silt fence.
Which that's fair, maybe, you know, that's, yeah.
So I did 1,000 foot, or nothing, but that don't matter. But that's why I kind of use that, kind of like a blanket, $10,000 to cover all some of the other stuff. But I'm sitting right here willing to accept whatever is fair to the firm, because number one, it's what I need in my home, to be honest. And if we're not legitimately doing that, I don't think we pay that. So I'm here to negotiate.
It's the original bid.
Well, the thing that,
Original bid.
I mean, we signed a contract,
36,720.
we agreed on the price, we signed the contract. You know, you came back, and because of muddy conditions, we agreed to a $10,000 override. And, to me, that's where it stops. I mean, what good is a contract? I mean, why don't we just, say, go ahead and do whatever you think and we'll pay you for it. And, we took bids and, we agreed for you to do the job and then come back and say, well, you need another 10,000. Well, now you need another, how much more? Another 47,000? No.
No, 1,600 basically. That's what I'm trying to figure out, how much over the bid we actually are.
The original bid?
There's
The original bid was 36,720.
Plus the silt fence, I think.
39,720, that's overall quote.
Okay.
And,
39,720.
That's with the extra dozer hours.
No,
no,
that's the original bid.
original bid was, including silt fence was 39,720.
So then, and another 10,000 would be 49,720.
Yeah, that's wrong. A little under 2,000. And that's what we're saying is for the culvert, hay bales, and that's where it's coming from. The culvert that you claim wasn't part of the bid process and the straw bales, because you backed off of the silt.
And the culvert, he did get permission to put in 8-inch
2
culvert there. And I highly recommended to put in one 18-inch, two double barrel, what we're doing. And I highly recommend the 18-inch because you get 40-foot long 8-inch, it's gonna plug up. But so we kinda, I guess I could knock that off.
Well, so that came from Bert, or Bert paid for that?
The culvert comes from Bert, but I traded him two 18-foot, half-inch cast iron pipe for the culvert. His culvert.
That was a swap off even deal.
Yeah, for the materials. But see, this price on this pipe is actually, about $21 a foot for materials, about $21 a foot to install.
But was now this in the plans to be installed? This culvert?
Yes,
In the original plans?
it was shown on the plan.
Well,
I
it should have
didn't
been
bid it.
included in your original process.
Well, no, I didn't bid it because I was told at the time of bid, don't worry about the culvert because the county will furnish and install it. So I didn't bid it.
Who told you that? Darren told you that? Who
Did
told you?
I told you that?
Yeah.
When, that was when.
When we first looked
9
at it,
months ago when I first looked at it.
and I remember that also.
No, that, I mean, that I don't recall, but I very well could, you know, so.
Well, the question, if he didn't, it wasn't included in his bid, well then, if you told him what's got it, you wouldn't have had to bid it in there then. That's,
I did, on my bid on it, somebody still got the bid, I did moving the dirt, furnish and install cement. Those are the only two things I got the bid on.
That's what it shows.
If,
Would you show me that? Can I give it back to you?
All right.
Yeah, that's the way it's written. You've got dirt work, silt fence and seeding as needed.
Well, the seating is just an option on that.
Right, it says as needed.
but he was furnished a set of plans for him to start with, to see what it all supposed to be.
Everybody had a set of plans, all contractors.
And the plans specified all these things need to be done, so why did you bid the whole thing?
We were told not to.
I was told not to bid the culvert.
I mean, just a culvert though, right, you're saying?
Yeah, the only thing, if I said that, yeah, then it was a culvert, but still we're talking $400. Okay. Because, you have to cut that in half because we traded pipe.
Yeah, the only thing we're really discussing here is the installation of the culvert.
That's what we're discussing. Yeah, $400.
That's the only discrepancy that went on here,
Well,
is the installation.
what have we decided on fish time to do?
Well, I'm just trying to deal with one issue at a time.
Okay. So, well, we traded materials for
Or the culvert.
Okay.
And the issue is,
And then the installation would be half of that, correct? $400?
Right.
Okay, I agree with that. Yes, $400 award for installation.
the straw bales were in the plans,
They were in the
Well-
drawing.
and nobody seems to have said that there wasn't, they weren't, or they should have been ignored. I'm disappearing.
That's just like, that's part of the stormwater controls, same as silt fence.
But there's gotta be a reason I didn't bid it. Let's back up one step to culvert. I've got 40 foot at $42 a foot, so 40 foot times $21 a foot would be more than $400.
You got 800 right down there.
Well, the 800 is the straw bales. My line kinda goofed down.
The culvert 16,
Right.
800.
It'll be half that, maybe 840.
And the straw bales are 800-ish.
Strong winds are 800.
And then the
That's part of the stormwater controls, is what I'm saying.
But it was in the plans.
Yes.
The only thing did you agree with him, but you didn't need the straw bales on, or you got first bales?
No, it's part of it.
I mean, if you, on the culvert, it's a different issue, if you agreed to do something that needed or something, but the straw bales, if it was in there.
Part of it. And the Terracon change order. I don't know what to tell you on that. I didn't see that you were down 4 days, Kirk, but
guess I understand your point, but I'm not so sure that we're the ones that should be penalized for this.
But if this is the case, it's 4,000, he should bill Terracom for that. It's their
That's kind of
fault.
my point, is I don't know why we're the ones being
I mean,
penalized.
if it's their fault, it's a change order their fault, then they should be responsible for the money. Any change orders that you didn't bid on, aren't they're responsible for it, right?
Well,
I would think
But
if they
you didn't-
put something in
The thing
there,
is, though, Bert, you didn't dig it down to that, which, good thing you didn't, because otherwise it'd been, you didn't all that,
Well,
time in field going back.
Right.
well, actually, I did. In fact, that was part of one reason why we were filling in that ramp, filling all that ramp back in. I had it dug down at one time. But I had to fill not only the build the berm back up, but when you build the berm back up, then you had to build that ramp back. So, and getting back what you were saying about the contract. The contract, in legality, I have a contract with the county. It doesn't have anything to do with Terracom. If it was on any other contract, that.
Any other contract, don't you get a written change order? That's my question.
Okay.
Anytime I've been able to contract you get a written change order that you need to.
The standard procedure is what I should have done. I didn't think it'd blow up. But the thing that I should have done, when I first pointed out, which is like it was even before this 4 days started. I told you, and you had Tony call me. And in fact, I think he even had him on the phone after he had it to him one time, talking to him. I told him, Tony, there's something wrong with this west end. It's not right. It's just not. So I brought it to his attention like a week before he actually came out and looked at it. But at that point in time, when I called it to his attention, I should have just parked all the equipment at that time. If I got on a road job or any other job, that's what I would have done. I just park everything, say, okay, until we get an answer, until we get something in writing on blueprints on how to build this thing, we'll shut down. Well, instead of doing that, we kept working someplace where we could, I guess. Not finishing that west end until we got word, and it was like a week later. It was like I think it was Monday morning when he came out there and met with me and told me that due to a computer software glitch, it was more than one point. It's that whole, well, you can see it because it's still on the blueprints. I don't know how it would fumble. So without just shutting the job down, putting my foot down, and saying, no, we're not going to do anything more until we see. So I don't know how long it would have taken them to find that mistake in the software, correct it, drop new blueprints, and all this, because I've been down that road before, but it could have easily stretched out to 2 or 3 weeks. But the way we kind of handled it in the field, which cut down time.
But the equipment didn't sit, or you continued using it. I mean, you wouldn't just at a standstill, waiting 4 days doing nothing.
And it's kind of like when we were running into trouble with the scraper getting stuck right off the bat. It got stuck 2 or 3 times
Well, from the
before.
very beginning, when you did that silt sand layer, I
That's-
called Tony, he said you got about 2 or 3 feet of it, more, and boom, 2 or 3 feet later, you were back to pushing. Same with the plate, he said you got about 3 foot of it, and there you were, 3 foot down, boom, you were back to digging 2 scrapers.
But where I was going with that is when the scrapers started getting stuck. I think it's the 3rd time we got stuck. When it cleared out the frame, that's when I had to go get the big dozer and and come down and push it out. Well, we went ahead, and that was like on a Thursday, and we went ahead and, like Thursday morning, we got the dozer there, we went ahead and worked Thursday morning, Friday, we were pushing, this is pushing the scraper. We worked Thursday, half day, Friday, half day, Saturday, all day. And that's when I decided, I don't know where the bottom of this thing is, so we need to go to council. And the following Monday. So we had basically two half days and one full day push load that I didn't even ask for. And I still don't want to ask for it, but I just thought I'd throw that out there on the table. That we threw that work in. Again, to get a change order written, you know, the correct thing would have been to shut the machines off, stop all procedures until we get a change order on that situation. But I didn't do it because, number one, I knew we were running into freezing weather, and I wanted to get done before we get weather like this and things gets frozen up and can't do anything with it. So, like I say, I'm here to negotiate, and I want to keep peace at this table. So I'm basically willing to accept anything that seems reasonable and fair to everyone in concern.
How'd you go with that?
So the silt fence, the erosion control was not figured into your bid, or was?
I did the silk fence.
The silt fence supply and install as needed. And this dollar setting, but that was included in your original bid. The erosion control was included in your original bid.
No, only the silk fence and the seating was.
I understand.
And there's got to be some reason I didn't bid the straw bed.
If I had it right, but that's what.
I think they were showing them.
That's what I don't understand the legality of the Terracon thing, how all that works. I'm not a lawyer, but I certainly don't feel any responsibility on our part. It's like we've done anything, created or caused it, or should suffer. It sounds to me like you did a good job of working through it and working past it without creating undue expense to yourself or to anybody else. For that, I think you should be commended. But not paid $4,000.
But I thought too, we was generous, you come back up there and said, you know, we should have said, no, you bid this price and go with it, and come up here and we agreed, and that was only to be additional money that you actually, you know, had to push with or something like that, something like that, so on the original table, what the original contract was. And I think I even asked you about an R meter, you said you didn't know that you could put one on some R meter to see what your hours.
Yeah, electric one. I don't know how.
And it was wired straight across the battery, so even the night if you forgot to unplug it, it'll just sit there and keep time.
That's the only thing I can think about. How it showed it. I mean, I was one you said it showed it.
Well, you were coming up with 20-some, you came up with 30. I understand your point about a standby. I mean, I've worked done, I don't know, oil field, that those are paid for from the time it leaves to the time it gets back
Right.
home. That's the way the industry works. This is a little different situation perhaps, but,
Yeah.
but I can understand at least some compensation even if the dozer isn't being used, you know, entirely for that. But I'm not going to pay for it just sitting there either. I mean, so I think, you know, that 20 to 30 hours is probably fair. And I think your figure reflects 30 hours, is that right? The one we have in front of us?
Yeah, about half of it. You mean that 5,000?
Yes. That's around 30 hours.
30 or 32 or something.
But you're happy enough with that figure?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I was looking at was the original bid plus the 5,000. The silt fence, which is part of your original bid, the 3,400, correct? If I look at that right. You back that back down to the original bid, correct?
Even though we were forced to put up the temporary stuff.
Well, that's an issue that I don't know that we could
Yeah.
settle, but as long as you're happy with
I'm happy.
the bid and the straw bales, I don't think we can pay you for. I think that whether you just made a mistake or whatever, there's no evidence to show that you were told something other than it should have been provided. From what I'm hearing, if you got some idea, listen to it. The culvert, we apparently worked out and agreed on $800 that you are owed for that. Are we in agreement with that?
840, correct?
Yeah, okay, the 840, I'm sorry. I should have added that in there. And then the Terracon change, like I said, I just had a real issue with that. On our part, I understand your frustration. From everything you've said, you worked through that, did a good job. And, I'm not opposed to having our county attorney talk to Terracon a little bit about it, but as far as us being penalized for it, I don't know why we should be, us being the county.
Right.
And if you had actually had a true expense incurred because of it, it would be a little different, but it sounds like you did a good job of avoiding that, so. That's the other part of it.
So what do we have for,
Well, don't use my math, somebody else had it up, because I don't think they did it quite right. I came up with 45, should have been 45,960.
Is that correct? 45,960. You agree, or?
Yeah, I think I said I agree with on the Terracon stuff. I think you should, I would go ahead, if they cause you the expense and you bid a contract, they should be responsible back to you for that amount. I think you should go after them, Terracon themselves for that.
I'll sure try that.
Because, like I said, it wasn't our fault in here, that's like Roger
No,
said.
I know.
And so,
That's why I was thinking before, and let me just throw this out on the table, but before you pay Terracon in full, use some excuse or something. I think I would hold a little bit out. I think I'd hold that much out.
well, I think
in
the
case.
Terracon's bill anyhow pretty close, I mean, but we had some questions about it,
Yeah, you have questions about that too.
I did get an itemized statement from them, which I wasn't happy with. I mean, I can't make heads or tails of it. I'm gonna have to send me another,
Right.
which they told me if you had any questions on it.
Well, and I think Bert's got a point.
Yeah, I do
Bring
too.
this
I-
issue
absolutely.
up.
I think you're
I have
right.
no idea where the legality really falls here. All I know is that it shouldn't fall on our shoulders.
Is what I'm gonna tell you as not as a legal lawyer, but is what I'm gonna recommend to you is when I do this, I'll guarantee you Terracon's gonna come back. And it's gonna get the county involved. It might not do anything more than have them involved, but that's why I didn't even wanna,
I understand.
go
But if
through all
we'd
this.
have had something up there with a change order from them saying, hey, this is what, this happened, but then to shoot back against Terracon anyhow.
Yeah.
If they had a change order, but they didn't have, they never did have, put out that official change order. You just
No.
told you what the,
No,
no
because.
written change order.
Yeah.
That makes us,
And I didn't really want it to become a change order, because I know how much time.
I understand,
and
yes,
everything
I
takes
understand.
But yeah, I'm happy with that, and I'll go ahead and pursue the Terracon thing, and we'll just see where that goes.
I think it's fair.
I think so, myself, you
Like I
know.
say, I have issues about this, but, and the issue I have is what gets a contract. I mean, if you don't follow the contract,
I agree with you, but we agreed to this, so, I mean,
The majority of that comes from the push time, correct? Yeah.
The only, we're paying him for the culvert, which apparently there was an issue, and the push time, which he's cutting here. So, it's considerably less than what he asked for to begin with. I think he's compensated for everything he was due. We can justify. So we need a motion.
Yep.
Okay, I move that we pay Bert $45,960.
That's the second motion.
okay, it's been moved and second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye, motion carried.
Okay, then, I guess we'll go back out to the weather.
Have you ever run snags like this before when you're working?
Pardon?
Have you ever run snags like this before when you're working? I understand you do some state jobs and stuff, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty strict, I know there.
Yeah, they are. That's why I say, I know the proper procedures to handle things like this. But just, I knew that, you know, we got 2 rains during that project. We got a more or if we get into this kind of weather like we're in now, you know, that time would be the essence to, especially if you guys want to get everything open before, you know, for the winter. And once you run into freezing weather like this, you know, the ground isn't frozen much yet, but it's starting to freeze. Once it gets frozen up, your hands are tied until it's spring. So to avoid the delays of, you know, possibly running into bad weather, I chose to take a shortcut.
So let me ask you, Jared, are we completed, have we agreed to pay this, or is everything completed out there, or needs to be done?
Sounds like it's up to 15 yards.
Well,
We can do that today.
well, it's,
What we would like, before we issue the check anyhow, I'd like to make sure we're completed.
well, actually, we gotta wait till the CQA is done and turned into the state. What we're waiting for is the state to say okay. Once they say okay, then I can start using it, then I would be done. There's still a chance that the permit manager might send from KDHE can come out there and look and say, hey, you know, that berm don't look nothing at all like design plan, and he, you know, more than likely, I don't think he will, but he can do that.
So when's this supposed to happen, the idea?
Supposed to know next week. Tony called me yesterday and said, or the day before yesterday, and said the report has been, the CQA report's been written and faxed to Mike, so I should know by that.
Is what real typical on a lot of contracts, they'll hold 10% percentage because
Right, that's it, I'm not sure we got everything completed.
yeah, so there's a little money there in case we do have to come back and do a little work.
I don't know. Mute button on that. Let's see it.
It'll be done here in a second, I kinda like it.
I know you do. Got loud enough you can hear it over those scrapers, don't you? Jeez.
So, you say about 2 weeks we should know then?
No, next week.
Next week we should know, okay. And then, I mean,
Can you wait that long?
I'm talking to my banker,
well, we'll pay them.
or just pay
When do we
half
pay
of it.
anyhow?
It'll be next Monday. But
Or, you know, like, I just pay half of it, because, you know, a lot of contracts pay every like 2 weeks, you know. I didn't request any
I
money
understand,
until
that fuel and everything too, I understand that. yeah.
we were done.
Well,
But a little bit.
I mean, I don't think we want to pay the whole thing till we get the final.
I agree,
you know,
You
but
wanna do half of it?
We could do half at mid-month, to be honest.
That gets you by.
Yep.
Okay.
As soon as you start digging this hole, start raining.
I know.
Maybe we need to dig another hole this
Well,
spring.
don't find a place to dig a hole, would you?
I
Alan,
think we need to dig that hole.
Wanna dig another hole?
Alan Crane will call me up on the phone just for that. He'll say, Bert, I need a little bit of scrape work out there. And he said, almost every time within 2 days, I got a rain.
There you go, go for it.
He didn't call you this year, did he?
Not this summer.
No.
I will, I'll call Mike Monday just to remind him that, you know, that we are in a bit of a push to get this pit open because I've got some houses in Hudson wanting to come down. I've got residents in Stafford wanting to come down, and we got plus Maxville wanting to come down. Three more.
Yeah, it might
You gotta
just
fill
be
up already?
Yeah.
Get out there digging.
Can't, don't we need firefighters, need a little experience, can we
Yeah,
burn
don't
them
we?
first?
You'll need to submit a voucher for that.
We do that stuff for free, you know?
The burning?
Yeah.
So we get paid.
Send you-
Just throw it out there.
All right.
I do it at midnight with no smoke or anything too.
I better stop now.
Yeah, you're on camera now.
You're on camera. All right.
He raised that.
Thank you.
I don't think we were.
Way good, thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We just put them out.
Good practice.
He just jumped security.
This is just a disaster exercise requirement that the state requires if you receive emergency management grant funds. So we're just, we have to fill that out for 3 years. And,
Oh, this is make believe.
no, well, you have to make believe
That's good.
exercises, yes, yes. So I've kind of got them figured out that they're real picky on well, what you do with your paperwork. I don't think they ever check on you to see how good you do with the actual exercises.
Exercise.
But they're real good at checking on your paperwork. So, so we've got to do that, and then I actually need to have you sign the attendance thing that just says that I reviewed that with you.
You all sign?
Yes,
This is
yes.
for what?
This is for EMPG, which is Emergency Management Performance Grant funds. And so really what I've done is I've mirrored it with
This is law.
our weather check, which we annually have that. The increased requirement for next year and the years after, where you have to do an exercise every quarter. But you can kind of plug things in that you do on an annual basis also. So the weather is one of those. And then the emergency management conference is another one. It's one that you kind of need to attend anyhow, just to keep an eye on what's new and everything. But they actually have different events that will count towards the tabletop exercise. So that helps in that regard. And then the new police chief here in St. John is going to do an active shooter here, exercise here in St. John. So we'll just piggyback on top of that. And then we'll have a couple hazmat, and then the pod is, I'm going to kind of just piggyback on Doris's event that she's required to do. And then we'll have just a little green elevator and an Amtrak tabletop, and that finishes out for the 3 years.
What do you do on the weather one?
The weather one is the national weather folks bring in a trainer, spotter training.
This is-
That one is actually very well attended, folks. It's usually about 40, 50 people comes in.
Well, we all love to look at tornadoes.
Like to see those tornado pictures.
So, have we had any luck with the issue with the weather warning in the Seward Radium area? I know we brought that up.
Well, we haven't done anything different with it. I mean, as far as whether we want to pursue some of them, we can pursue some grant funds for that, but they're always matching. So I don't know what
What is the solution? I don't know that anybody's ever come up with
Well,
a solution.
the solution as far as like the delay, the weather folks claim that there isn't a delay.
Right. That's what they told me.
Yeah, but I think that there probably is somewhat there, a little bit. There was some question of whether that delay was how the dispatch was picking it up. I don't think that that's where the problem lies. I think we're just kind of like an in-between as far as where they pick up their radar at.
Well, see, that's what Jeff was kind of maintaining. The weather guy was saying that's just baloney. Somebody in Australia knows within 10 seconds of when we issue a weather warning.
Well,
So
I think
why
some of-
can't we? And I, of course, I can't answer that question. That's a question I'm asking you, and I'd like resolved.
I think that.
And before we ask for grant funds, I'd like to at least know what the answer is.
Right. Well, the only grant funds that we'd really want to pursue would be maybe looking at the age of our sirens. See, I don't know that we do have a delay. The thing with like our weather is that it's like the tornado that
The
dropped
mayor
up
says
there.
there's a delay, the sheriff says there's a delay, the citizens say there's a delay. I can't really argue with any one of those.
Well, I guess prove it to me. I mean,
Well,
the weather says there isn't. The weather folks say there isn't.
Between, the weather folks say there is not a delay between their issuing of a warning and anybody's ability to receive that warning. That's their contention. The citizens, the sheriff, and the mayor all agree that there is a delay between the issue of the warning and us being able to sound the sirens.
How could the citizens know that? And how could
Because they can hear the sirens, they can see the tornado, and they have TVs and radios and internets where they know that the warning is issued. This electronic age is pretty amazing. In other words, the private citizens know it before the sheriff's department knows it and is dispatching it, is what I'm told. And it's as much as 10 minutes. In other words, the storm is long gone before that siren ever goes off. It's a very serious issue. And I'm not blaming you, but you seem to be able to deal with it.
Well, I don't know.
Or at least you promised me that you would.
But the problem is, if the
And-
weather
and
folks
I-
say there isn't a delay, I don't know if I'm supposed to go beat them up or what I'm supposed to do, you know?
The problem is here. The problem is here, apparently, from the best of my knowledge.
But Jeff says there's not a problem here, you said.
Jeff says there is.
Oh,
He agrees.
From the time,
From the time, I think,
from Topeka to here.
Yeah.
We think that it's in how we
It's-
receive our information, right?
Right.
That we're using the old teletype or
that
something
comes
like
over
that?
the teletype, and so,
It goes up there and back here, right?
that's the way I
That's
understand.
what Jeff said.
That's
So
what,
I
But
think
that goes directly
that's
right here to.
nothing,
It's-
that Steve can't fix that.
well,
It's a
I'm not
delay.
saying he can't.
It's a
He was-
delay, you know, once Dodge City or whoever sends that out, it goes to wherever the
That's where we're
teletypes come
getting
out
our
of.
information from.
Yeah, that's.
I'd say that dispatch needs to receive it differently,
Yes, I think that was the general conclusion.
but I'm not over dispatch.
I know. I know. You promised me you'd look into it.
Yeah, I think the problem still lies in how they receive it. If it's going through a convoluted
It
method of.
sounds like it. But also, I mean, you do also get this information, and I think, if I can remember our discussions right, that you were gonna look into, because you're part of the weather thing too. And
Right.
you're tied into it, and that maybe there was a solution there.
Well, the problem with relying on any one, a person instead of a agency is, I might be in Oklahoma, or I might be in Tuscaloosa or something on vacation.
I know.
If
I want a
I'm the
system, I want a
guy.
system in place that's gonna do this
Right, it
properly.
has to go through our dispatch center that's staffed 24/7.
Okay, so how do we create this? I'm not blaming you, I'm just asking you
Sure.
for help.
I can look into their system and see what needs to work differently in their department down there.
Can you
but
have
that's not-
communications with Jeff and we work together on this? I mean, seems to be where the problem is coming from.
Well, yeah, and I think it's, Jeff's the sheriff, but he doesn't sit there in the dispatch room, so I mean, it's really, probably Regine's probably the
Do
one.
you hear what I'm hearing here? That none of this is my fault or my responsibility from everybody, is all I'm getting.
Sure.
And this has gone on for several months now.
Ultimately, I'm not over the dispatch center, and they're the ones
I
who see the
understand
signal.
that. I understand that.
So it's probably,
I'm asking for your help as well.
sure. But I would ask that you visit with the sheriff. I mean, instead of me doing it as an in-between, I think directly asking the sheriff, can we do this differently?
I guess first of all, you need to find out, does this have to come through the teletype before anything can be sounded? Or can you get it directly from Dodge City over the internet
Well,
or the TV?
I think that's how.
I guess that's
how we
what
got
you
to
need to
discuss
find
it with
out.
you. I think
It seems
that's
like
what we came
teletype is a pretty antiquated method.
Well, that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna
it
say.
is.
It takes too long, so.
But is there another way out there to get information?
That's, I
I'm
think,
sure
how come
there
we're
is.
talking to you.
Right.
think
Well, I'm
that's how
sure
it got
that,
to you.
I don't think others are doing it through
I
teletype.
can't imagine.
Shouldn't you have two systems in
Can you
place in
find out
case
what
one
other counties
fails?
do?
Oh, yeah, I can check with other counties and see what they're
That
doing.
would be a big
I
help.
thought Jeff said that's the only way you do it.
What?
Didn't Jeff say that's the way they, only way you do it or something?
I just can't.
I
can't
can't
remember.
imagine
We
the
talked
big
about
places using that teletype thing still.
Well, I understand the teletype's primarily set up in case there's an escaped prisoner or something like
Well,
that.
everything comes over teletype, or it used
I
to.
think teletype
I think it
is
still does.
like law enforcement, it's protected much more. So if they're putting out information that they don't want just any Tom, Dick, and Harry looking at, then they process it through there. But,
This shouldn't
you
be
know,
protected.
there's so many
information.
putting out information now that, non-protected information like this, that they want everybody to know, that it's instantaneous. I mean,
And that's the Weather Bureau's point of view. It's instantaneous.
right.
It's on the internet. He said within less than 30 seconds of me issuing,
We-
it's out.
I mean, we should,
It's
I
on-
agree.
It's on the
that
weatherman radio, it's on
Anytime
the internet.
that the
I don't know
information
where
is
it's-
out, so, there's still gonna be times with weather that it drops on us.
Oh, of course.
And so we're in a severe, and the problem if you get to setting off that warning too often is then they won't pay attention to it. And so they're kind of in an in-between there that,
But the idea of the warning going off after, and you know, like I said, we're all out there looking at the tornadoes, we're fascinated, and you can see they're by, and then the.
But like he,
wind goes
they
up.
say at the weather station, like Wichita, so they say, sometimes it does, like you say, it just, you know, they don't even realize it's a
so like
serious issue.
the one that happened here this last year, they never got that one through, it dropped on them.
He said we dropped the ball.
Oh, the weather guy did it.
Yes, he said we dropped the ball. Those were his words, and it will never happen again. That's what he said.
Well, that one, yeah, we never got a warning.
Somebody gonna get their butt chewed, but, yeah, he said storms never do that, and he said we didn't pay any attention, and we just dropped it.
It's, you know, I don't criticize them guys because they got a tough job because
No, I think
if
so.
they go too much one way, then they're warning people all the time. And then people won't pay attention when the real one hits because they just get tired of it. They say, oh, here goes another one.
Right.
And so it's a
Right.
tough,
And I didn't realize we even had an issue up there. I don't usually hear the siren, but apparently it's chronic.
I'll get you an answer
And
next week on the dispatch.
And
As far as
Jeff has pretty well
others.
confirmed that it is an issue.
Do you need a motion to approve this, to sign this as
Yeah.
the 2012, 2014 exercise calendar, that's what it is called.
3 years, 12, 13, 14.
I make a motion to approve that.
I will second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, all in favor? Say aye.
Now, we all need to sign down here.
No, just sign up in the participant area.
Oh, up here?
Yeah.
Up here, okay.
And that just means that you were a participant in the formation of the exercise schedule.
And if I can see Jeff, I will ask him the same questions. I don't want you to think I'm picking on you.
No, that's a, I think you could probably pick that up through even though like the National Weather folks probably got a Facebook page.
Yeah.
I'm
They said the
wondering if it
internet, I think I
has
brought
to
up the
be-
internet and he said
Does
something.
it have to be through
I-
some official source though, is what I'm wondering.
The
You know what
weather
I mean?
site, the weather, I mean.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know.
Before they issue a warning, does you have to have some
Yeah,
type of,
exactly.
come down from somewhere
Is
saying
that
you
why
do
it
it.
comes through?
Before they
the
set siren
teletype?
off, especially. But it is delaying, I'm sure that others aren't doing it that way.
Just got to think, yeah, right, exactly.
And put the warnings in there, I didn't put-
Yeah, I'll plug the content. All right, thank you.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
2 weeks ago now, my cousin was found on the side of the road and transported to Great Bend. We're dealing here with hospital and all the problems they're having, and it's, seems frustrating, at least from the surface, that here we are trying to keep our hospital alive and we're taking somebody
Most,
3
you know,
times further to Great Bend than to.
see, most of the time when we, it's usually kind of, I don't want to dodge the question, but it's kind of complicated because, first of all, the patient has a right to choose at least out of 3. And if they're very emergent, then we won't pass the hospital, even if they so choose would want to go to another one. We're saying, you know, our procedures are to, unless we get a doctor that says that we can just drive right by one to get to another one, we don't do that. Now, sometimes we would if we got a doctor's approval, because it might be in the patient's best interest, because they might need a specialist. But as far as you know, that particular patient, I didn't respond to that patient, so I'm not sure why they, whether that was their choice, whether it was a family choice.
No, I can guarantee it was neither of those.
So I'm not
He'd been
sure.
much happier going local, where he was comfortable and familiar.
Could have
It was
been
much
that
closer.
yeah, it could have been at the hospital. Sometimes if the hospital doesn't have somebody there to receive them, they'll turn us and head us in a different direction just for that purpose.
Okay, well,
So it's kind of it kind of goes patient by patient. You know, sometimes I'll be headed to Stafford, and they'll say, no, you know, we can't receive that patient here, or maybe our diagnostic machines are down. We've got to you've got to divert. And so
well, the question was being asked of me by the family.
sure,
I don't think so.
yeah, and I'll do some checking and find out.
And I do think that, if, you know, I mean, if there's a bias against our local hospital, maybe we need to find out why and see if there's something we can do about that.
You know, one thing, and I don't want to pick on the last director that was over there, but I think you, as a director or a CEO of any company, you need to get out in the whole community and interact with the people and promote your organization. And I never see that from our last CEO over there. You never seen him hardly ever outside that hospital.
Well,
And I think it's
know
important
the
for
board
them.
was frustrated with exactly that.
It's important for them to see that presence.
Hearing that?
To see that promotion
I agree with you.
over here, because it's just as easy just to head up that way or that way. But what they don't understand when they do that is they're already paying taxes for that one.
Exactly.
And the more that they can use that, the less it comes back on their taxes.
Exactly. Exactly my point.
And there's some good folks over there too, so it's,
Yeah, so as long as your staff understands that as well.
yeah.
But I guess what I'm saying is, if there are some issues that they have, we need to bring them to light and
There's no issues that I understand.
discuss them. Okay?
You know, we don't have any problem whatsoever that, I mean, any of our folks have gone.
It just seemed a little odd that they would, you know, they were 10 miles from Stafford and they go 25 or 30 to Great Bend, whatever it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to check and find out. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Good morning. This is easy, guys.
0 is 0 is 0.
0, 0,
0, 0, 0.
Yeah. My quarterly report, this is as of the end of September. On the second page, we got a total of $4,487,000. And that's split up between CDs and liquid accounts. We don't have very many CDs right now. The next page is the pie chart, CDs versus liquid accounts.
Looks like I missed one.
Yeah, you missed one. I'm just not having any interest in bidding on CDs, and I have a savings account that's making more than some of my bids on CDs, so I'm just keeping it in there, so I just not much going on. You guys know it's a bad time right now for interest rates.
Turn on this one, it's on a 5-year CD for 1.2% or something.
That's not bad.
5-year.
Okay, and the last page is total interest as of, oh, I didn't change that title, that says June 30th, but it's September 30th. 25,154 is all we've had on interest this year. As looking back at 2007, that's what it really is. And you know, that's 4 meals difference.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really makes a difference if we can make money on our interest or not for the county.
Is it because we have less money in the bank, or is it strictly interest?
Interest mainly.
That's right.
I mean, of course, we have spent down some of our reserves, and there's not as much to invest, but it's mainly the interest
I see.
that's really killing us, so. And that's it.
Well, it's really, the interest rate's down like this, there's no sense in really keeping
I would,
a lot of
Yeah.
reserves. It's just not-
That's right, it's a good, yeah. It's a good time if you do have to spend some money, that's cheap interest to spend it, you're still saving the county money in other ways. You may not see it here, but yeah. Okay,
Okay,
that's all I
thank you.
have.
Should we do the tax abatements?
Sure.
is
And
there
I got some other things.
anything here we need to be aware of?
Just change it,
Most of
just
them, I guess, changes.
some died, some inherited, some.
Some we did split.
Trying to hide that one? Move that we approve the tax change.
I second them.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Okay, Hillary sent the balance sheet for the hospital.
Did my son taught those?
She emailed it to me and asked me to give you guys a copy. So, I sent this to you, didn't I?
Yeah, I got it too. I put it in my
So,
file.
Well, I got to think, do they have a lot of money coming in at the end of the year? Like, that's what was always told before, they have like $1 million or something coming in at the end of the year.
I don't think so. They should have made a mention
Why
that,
is this different than what it was reported to you before?
they had anticipated something like a $50,000.
But didn't you always said that they said they had all this money coming at the end of the year?
But see, from my understanding, this thing is like a yo-yo. 2 years ago, they were not busy. Last year, they were busy. So reimbursement was greater. This year, they're not busy. It's based on last year's. So reimbursement is lower. So next year, you know, they're not busy. This year, they're not busy. Then reimbursement is better. Is that the way it works, Roger? Is it?
Yeah, because
See.
it depends on how,
It
what their
depends on
claims.
last year's
Right.
business. Like 3 years ago, there
Yes.
was no business.
Right, you're right, but from what I understand is that when they get to the end of the fiscal year, then they go back and say, oh, this is what it should have been, and then they are compensated. And that kind of answers your
Just my question,
question.
yeah.
And-
There'll be some money coming in.
So it actually doesn't have to take a full year to do it, it just, once their year's over, then they go through this formula, which nobody could ever explain to me, and they determine the cost per patient. Because you're given 101% of the cost. Well, obviously, if you have 2 patients, your cost goes way up per patient, as opposed to 20. So through the year, you're paid based on last year's projections. So I've always thought that they should, at the end of the year, be able to say, oh, we're going to get all of this money.
But, all right,
But
nobody knows
nobody has been able to tell us that.
this year, are they going to have any money
Well, it
this
won't
year?
come in this year, it'll come in 2012.
Right after the first year, right? Somewhere close to the end of the
I
first
bet
year.
it would take Claire till June.
I think it's more like, it takes about 6 months.
Okay.
I think their fiscal year is the end of the year, Ron, do you remember?
Yes, sir.
And I'm pretty good. And so then they are able to sit down, do all the accounting. That doesn't happen until February and March before that's all figured, and then they submit it, and then they figure another 90 days to get your money.
Really until they're audited and they do all those final
Exactly.
adjustments.
And they're not
It's really-
audited until, I don't think, February.
Okay, I just.
January or
the other day, I thought
They
that-
don't still have their 10 audit done,
Yeah.
that's what we were told, because we've been trying to get it.
Why not?
I don't know.
We pay a big auditor, big salary to the auditors.
I don't know, we've been trying to get it, and they keep telling us it's not done. Because Amber, the accountants wanted to see it.
It's not done, it has to be done.
Well, I keep getting told.
Well, then how in the world did they know that we had to pay the government $1.3 million back if there was no audit? Well, then I can't answer it.
Strike that.
Sorry. Okay, it's time to renew the agreement with the Sunflower Pest Control. They take care of the termite dealy floppers on the garage.
Bait stations.
We still want to do that, don't we? It's $250 a year.
Yes.
Kitty floppers.
Yeah, they're the
The bait
the
station.
green
That's a
things,
technical
the
term, isn't it?
That's close enough.
green things. I don't know what they are.
Bait station.
I still
Okay,
don't know what
bait
this is.
stations.
Is this an improvement or not?
Okay, and I have the cereal malt beverage renewal for the shortstop out here. Needs to be approved.
I'll make a motion to approve the renewal for the shortstop.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, use that down there.
Accounts payable.
No, the
Right
losses,
here,
this
sign it.
here is what's this, is this one,
We're going the wrong way.
so losses, well, this.
We'll recess. Is that in? Okay, we've got to adopt the 2012 health insurance plan and
This is what we discussed last week, right?
yes,
And we made no changes, right?
with the exception of doing away with life insurance and
We would offer the two option benefits, a $300, $600 deductible at $500,000. If the employee would choose the lower deductible, they would pay more in premium. We're gonna have
You
a
got a copy?
four-tier plan, employee only, employee spouse, employee child, and a family plan. And then the dental coverage, according to the Obamacare, has to be broken out separately. So it would be an additional charge to family or single.
But this is, I think, worse. We had the Blue Cross Blue Shield, but I think this here is
The
comparable.
fixed costs with BMI were lower than Blue Cross. I mean, there wasn't a lot of difference, but they were lower. Which
That's-
fixed cost is what, I mean, that's what we pay every month, you know.
But we've been having we haven't had real extreme premium increases with this particular plan. Like sometimes I've sort of 15, 20% premium increases. Not saying it couldn't happen, but it's always worked out pretty well.
Well, I'm ready to make a
Yeah,
motion.
okay.
I move that we accept the new health care plan
With BMI?
with BMI.
I second the motion.
okay. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carried. We will continue with BMI.
Okay, I want to ask you guys, the last week in December, we're off the 26th. We have the last payday planned for Friday the 30th. Is that when you want your regular meeting to be? You don't want to come in like on the 27th and have to come back in on the 30th, do you, or whatever you want to do? It doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter to me.
I mean, that would be take care of the pay and everything the same way.
Yeah, that's our
Since
last
it does
pay.
come out right.
It's okay. That's the-
And
On the 30th?
do we
Well,
have,
we could do it to where we do it like usual. You would come in on 27th for regular business and then just a check signing station here. Is that, that's fine with us too. I don't care.
Be nice.
I would rather do it later rather than the 27th. I personally
well, that's when we'll have the transfers
Yeah.
at the same time.
can do everything.
Do it on the
Otherwise-
30th.
At the end of
You'll be
the-
done by noon, right? Usually.
Should be.
You shouldn't change it for me.
Well, I'm just asking. It doesn't matter to us.
You guys would rather do it all at once, I'm sure.
That's, I don't mind doing it on Friday. That's all right, you? That's you prefer?
Friday would work better for me,
Okay.
or Thursday.
No, it needs to be Friday.
Needs to be Friday.
Somebody will remind me.
Okay. We'll just plan on that then. Okay.
Okay, that's done.
I think that's all.
Clean it up.
All right, so at noon today in Great Bend. Okay, anything, Jenny?
Have it.
Roger? All right, nothing. We'll adjourn.